Hello. I thought I'd do a quick video on some updates that they've done for Superior Drummer 3 in the various patches that they've released since launch. You can see all the patch notes here. They've added bunches of bug fixes, hotkeys, and plenty of features. There are a few really useful standout features. And the first one I want to show you is over here in this pane. We've got groove parts now. It's a pop-out pane. So you've got your MIDI library, and you can select any of your MIDI, and you can say take your kick from that one. You can then take your snare from this one. You can take your hi-hat pedal from this one, and the crash, and you can just kind of make your own recipe for your MIDI. And depending on how you use it, it will have varying degrees of success. So that's pretty cool. But that is, in essence, just a easy way to do the old copy paste instrument piece there. It's just a quicker way of doing that very same thing. Another feature is if you go into MIDI in eDrum settings, you can see here with the menus they've been a lot more fleshed out. There's a lot more options in there for splitting outputs and all sorts. But in the MIDI in an eDrum section over here where the maps presets are, they've added in hundreds, well, maybe not hundreds, but they've added in a lot. So you've got all your Yamaha DTXs, you've got your Roland from the HD1 all the way up to SPD30 and TD50 and all that kind of stuff. But you've also got Steven Slate drums, you've got Addictive drums, you got Studio Drummer, Abbey Road series, all of that stuff. Cakewalk, if you are from the 90s, whenever it was that people were using that. So you can select a map. I am someone who always used to use Addictive drums, so I've got plenty of loops in my library for Addictive drums. You would select the map, go to user libraries if you've got a directory set up and you've got Addictive drums all nicely categorized in their correct folders. Pick a loop, whoops, drag it in, and it doesn't work. This is one of the problems with that feature. It's got a bit of a strange kind of workflow. The only way that I've found really to make that work is to go into your file browser and find the MIDI and then drag that in, and you get this pop-up box saying whether you want to adjust the tempo and apply the eDrums preset. And now it works. So that is very useful if it does need a bit more developing. I like to see a badge icon being added to this bottom area here, where you would be able to select from the list, and it would then allow you to adjust the mapping in real time. So another feature which is really handy, if I just add in an empty block here. Actually, you know what? Let's go off script. Let's find a general MIDI. Let's go into the presets again. I think this generic one is a general MIDI one. If it's not, then oh well, never mind. So if we take something that's, I don't know, reasonably interesting, this. Double click. As you can see, all of the velocities of all of the notes are all at about halfway. So if I smash them all up, jubbly. We now have a randomize feature. So whereas beforehand you would have to perhaps use your MIDI logic editor in Cubase to randomize the velocities so that you could use this dynamics tool. So you didn't have to go in and edit all of these like this. We can now just randomize it. And of course, dynamics will then alter the difference between, it'll make the harder hits harder and the softer hits softer. So if I just reset that, you can, for example, let's just go for the kicks, go bring them down a tad, going to randomize them. The snare, do the same with that, randomize, bring the level back up a bit. But to add an extra layer of realism, you can add in now from this randomize thing at the top, you can alter the timing of the notes so that they're just very slightly off beat. So if I zoom in, randomize, so yeah, it can just be off, and you can play ever so slightly out of tune, out of time rather. So yeah, you can kind of fine tune your overly quantized MIDI to give it a bit more of a natural feel. There is a whole bunch of other options that they have added that I'm not qualified to get into today. Things like show note length and all that kind of stuff that they've added, and you can solo and mute certain tracks over here now. This has all been added since launch. Yeah, I just wanted to show off a few useful features.